stay away from Joe Mixon in 2023. I part of me feels like you guys should know this by now. Part of me feels like this is almost like an obvious Oscar type of live stream. I'm doing a panic chamber episode on Joe Mixon, but his ADP is through the roof, considering this man's potentially going to get released by the Cincinnati Bengals, or he takes a big pay cut and Chase Brown's coming for his job, nipping at his heels. I don't know why we're even here, but we are. Happy 4th of July. File on in. The Fantasy Football Show Panic Chamber edition begins right now.
Live from the fantasyfootballshow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
You are entering the Panic Chamber, brought to you by Grindhouse. Vintage movie tees and hoodies. You are entering the Panic Chamber, brought to you by Grindhouse.
So, appreciate everybody being here on 4th of July. I can't thank you all enough for tuning in and being a part of the growth of this channel. And we crossed over 19K. So congratulations to everybody involved in that.
Mashed potatoes!
That goes out to you. That goes out to you, Mom, Dad, everybody that contributed to that 19K. And we're going to hit 25K by December easily. But we're going to try and go much past that. Let's go for 50. Let's go for 50. And while we're at that, here we are looking at a man that continues to go in this crazy, crazy territory. Let's put Joe Mixon right into the panic chamber. Let's take a look at a couple things. The reason I'm even here. Why am I here? Because I did two. These are pretty much back-to-back almost. These are live drafts that are still ongoing. They're slow drafts. One of them is with you guys. The other is with a bunch of randoms on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Smitty. Promo code Smitty gets you up to $100 dollar for dollar bonus match, baby. And if you get on over to Underdog Fantasy, you can draft with me. We may or may not do anything tonight. I'm not sure if I'm going live tonight. This will be my second show today, so we'll have to see. Okay. Just play it by ear. But right now, file on and hit the like button. Joe Mixon. I believe this draft is with you guys. Yeah, the test. We've got a few of the usuals up above. You can see the names. Joe Mixon went in round 4. He went earlier in our community draft than he's going outside of our community. He went in the 4th round. Now, it just so happens your boy Smitty drafted Kenneth Walker right before at 38 overall. Had I not done that, you're probably looking at him going, before Kenneth Walker. I mean, maybe Detest would have taken Kenneth Walker. And Detest, no offense, bro. This is nothing against you, pal. I hope you don't take offense to it. But Joe Mixon in the 4th round is head scratching to me. Head scratching to me. He's about to get released or take a huge pay cut. His talent levels dropped off tremendously. And he's going like clockwork in the 4th and 5th round. I don't even understand it. Here's another draft with a bunch of randoms. This is not with you fine folks. This is with a bunch of randoms. And you could see still right here, Kenneth Walker, 54 overall. Joe Mixon, 51. I don't understand it. Jahan Dotson, I'm not saying take Dotson in round 5. Please understand what I'm saying. Don't go out and do something stupid. Okay, like take Dotson 2 rounds above where he's supposed to go. He's really falling much past round 6 sometimes. But I would take Jahan Dotson above Joe Mixon. Not draft Jahan in round 5, but if Joe Mixon fell to 67 overall, I would pass over Joe Mixon like he was nothing. I'd pass over him like he's not even in the NFL. Because that's how I feel about drafting him in territory where Jahmyr Gibbs is around, Christian Watson's around, Kenneth Walker's around, J.K. Dobbins is around. This guy, Joe Mixon, went before J.K. Dobbins and Kenneth Walker. I don't understand it at all. He's totally dropped off physically if you watch the film. And Chase Brown is absolutely coming for his job. And if they do cut Mixon, maybe Dalvin Cook's brought in, maybe Zeke Elliott, Fournette. There could be another addition to the running back stable. But if Joe Mixon stays on roster, and I do expect him to, unless he's just not very, well, how should we say it? Maybe he's not very intelligent in terms of contracts and what he's likely not going to get if he hits the free agent market. He very much might not listen to his agents or people around him that say, Joe, look, lower it to this amount right here, because if you get cut, you're not getting that amount. So let's lower it down to a point where you're still benefiting, okay? Because if you get cut, guess what? You're going to hit the open market. Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Hopkins. You're not better than them, Joe. I know Joe probably does think he's better, but you're not, Joe. You're not, and you probably think you are. You're probably going to hit the open market because you're going to get cut, and you're not going to sniff what you could lower your contract amount to. But maybe he does lower his contract amount down. He's still not worth this. I don't care if he remains a Bengal. I would not draft him in the 4th to 5th round territory. No chance whatsoever. Dotson's better. Kenneth Walker's better. DeAndre Swift is better. These are all much better options. Isaiah Pacheco crushes Joe Mixon. I'd take Isaiah Pacheco over Joe Mixon, but in round 6, if Mixon fell to round 6, I would take Pacheco over Mixon and then go get McKinnon and walk straight to the bank. That's it. Plain and simple. Panic chamber closed. Now we got to get on to, there's not much news today, so I'm going to close all this out. We're going to potentially just have a little free-for-all, call-in session. Topic at hand is what you guys decide. Phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I feel bad to test. I'll shed a tear if you. I feel bad for the test because the test. I didn't even know that you had drafted. I didn't know who had drafted Mixon. I grabbed that from one of our drafts. I threw it up there. I thought I cropped out who was involved in the draft, but apparently I didn't drag far enough, and I didn't even know that was you took Mixon in that. I had no idea the test, so I wasn't trying to call you out. The test is my boy. The test knows I love him, but yeah, I didn't see that this was the test that had. No, it was right here. There's this other one. It was it this one? No, it's the same one. It was probably this one right here. Yeah, I did test. I'm sorry, bro. Wasn't trying to call you out, but I mean, 4th round? No. Like 5th round, I could understand you arguing it. I'm not going to get on board with you. I maybe won't make you take a big full lap, maybe a half a lap, but 4th round to test? You know I love you, pal, but I got to do it. It's for your own good. All right. I don't think the test has ever taken a lap, so it's healthy for him. It's 4th of July. Get some exercise. Get out there. Mixon will probably have a Zeke 2022 type season. He could. I mean, he could. There is a world where Joe Mixon does run for 800, 900 yards and has 7 touchdowns or something semi-effective. Michael K. CPA dropping a 20 watt on screen. And yeah, I would normally hit this $20 holler button, but Michael K. CPA just happens to have his own song.
He's Michael K. CPA. When you've got bills to pay, Michael K. CPA. He is here to stay.
Michael K's got his own song. What better joy than to listen to your favorite show while you're driving around town and your own song comes on your favorite show. I mean, Michael K. CPA to the moon, but we still hit the $20 holler button.
Alert. Super chat alert.
$20 super chat. $20 super chat.
Michael K. CPA says, congrats on 19K. Happy 4th from Laguna Beach, California. Michael K. CPA dropping fire, straight fire on the live stream already. Thank you. Happy 4th of July. And Michael K. CPA, I don't know if you've heard, but we're going to potentially do a Keep Smitty live as long as possible with some moderate super chat goals each hour, you know. And if you hit the goal, Smitty goes live another hour. It'll be a very, very achievable, you know, nothing crazy super chat goal. And if you guys, this is on opening day Sunday, week 1, and I'm going to go live at like, you know, an hour before kickoff or maybe a little more before kickoff doing start bench. And if you guys hit the super chat goal, I go live another hour. You hit the super chat goal, I go live another hour. We see how long you guys keep me on. 18 hours, 24 hours. It is up to you. And Michael K. CPA, we're going to need you there, pal. We're going to need your help there, dropping a little super chat once in a while. Michael K. CPA, you have been called upon. It is you are the one we need there, Michael K. You have been here from the absolute beginning.
He's Michael K. CPA. When you've got bills to pay, Michael K. CPA. He is here to stay.
Appreciate you, Michael K. CPA, dropping the super chat. What's going on, everybody? Hey, dial into the phone line, will ya? And let's talk a little fantasy football 2023. We probably won't do like a 2 or 3 hour show today. I say that, and sometimes I go longer. But the goal is do about a 35, 40 minute, 45 minute show, maybe longer, maybe shorter. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I know a lot of you, look, we got 100 people in the room here on 4th of July. A lot of you are looking for content today, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. But dial into the show if you want to get on here. In the meantime, let's do a speed round, a little speed round Q&A session. You know what that means. Get your question ready. Very short questions. I'm going to go about 4 or 5 minutes straight.
It is time for the speed question and answer segment.
Five minutes straight of questions. Let's do it and do it live. Appreciate you all. Let's go. Jonathan Cruz, hang tight. We just jumped into this. Call right after this. Michael K. CPA listener, Moon Man for sure. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. All tours, Cape Cod are pissed. Raining here, says Travis. Travis, appreciate you very, very much. Mixon or Rashad White? We're going to go Rashad White. Mixon is not somebody I'm drafting unless he falls to like just absolute free territory for me. And Rashad White I'm a little skeptical of, but I do like him more. Juju or Tony by a country mile. By a country mile. You think both Charbonnet and Walker will be viable in fantasy with Walker flirting with running back 1 territory numbers? I do believe that it could be the case. I don't think you should expect Charbonnet to be viable. I think you want to hope that Walker literally takes the job and runs with it and doesn't, relinquish any carries or whatever. Have you seen any tape on Arizona wide receiver Michael Wilson? Absolutely. We talk about Michael Wilson all the time. Also, he's on the waiver wire video I just dropped about 30, 40 minutes ago. So go check that out. A preemptive week 1 waiver wire to help stop you from not picking up the right guys, to do it ahead of time. So you aren't dropping a bunch of fab on some guys that you shouldn't be dropping on because you should have picked them up or drafted them or whatever. I love Wilson. He could be a little A.J. Brown in Arizona if they get Caleb Williams. Amon-Ra plus Waddle or A.J. Brown plus Garrett Wilson? Give me A.J. Brown plus Garrett Wilson. Personally, I like that combination better, but it's definitely good. Jose, calls after the 3 minutes of speed round super Q&A. So call in after this. Fields, DJ, or Goff or St. Brown? Fields and DJ by quite a bit, I think. Yeah, because look, I don't like DJ near as much as I like St. Brown, but I like Fields way more than I like Goff. Although Goff is going to have a nice year, but that's the way I feel, especially if it's long term. Michael Wilson will be a top 3 rookie wide receiver. He certainly could be. The situation doesn't call for that in Arizona, but I think he will look like he could be that coming into his second year. I think it's more of the way it's going to look. I don't think he's got the potential. Hold on a second. We got to pause this timer. Jonathan, I said 3 times, Jonathan. We're in the middle of a speed round Q&A.
Oh, my bad, brother.
Here, hang tight. Just hang tight through 2.5 minutes. You're all good. Just mute yourself if you would. Mute yourself real quick. Hey, Denny, We're in the middle of a Q&A. We're in the middle of a Q&A session, a 2.5 minute speed round Q&A. Can you put it on mute and hold for me real quick? Just put it on mute.
All right.
I got you and Jonathan on hold. Just hang tight. Hang tight. Some of you.
All right, I'll hold on.
That's
I'll
right.
hang tight.
All right, hit it on mute, please. What do you think of my new team? Let me hit this timer. Go one more time. What do you think of my new team? Tasty Fart Box. I don't know, Anthony. You know, that's out of my lane and realm of I don't know, advice giving. So take that up with the other analysts out there, bro. Damian Pierce to J.K. Dobbins. Give me Pierce by a little bit, but I do love J.K., but he's holding out. He's very injury prone. They're going to go pass heavy in Baltimore. There's some reasons to lean Damian Pierce in this situation. Denny, I don't think you muted the phone. I'm just guessing. Stevenson or Walker, I'm going to go with Walker over Stevenson, but not at cost. At cost, you can get both of them. You can draft Stevenson in the 3rd round. You can draft Walker in the 4th. Stevenson in the 3rd round, Breece Hall in the 3rd round. But like when push comes to shove,
dumbass.
Hey, Denny, can you mute, please? We're in the middle of a speed round. Walker and Charbonnet together, he's not gonna. Walker and Charbonnet together might be as powerful as Breece or Stevenson, you know, all by their lonesomes. But it's really, really tough. Garrett Wilson, and your best bet is probably to go Stevenson for safety. If you want to go a little high risk, high reward, Walker, Breece Hall are very, very comparable. Bryson, you can't really go wrong there, but those are all super close. Cam Akers or Monty. Give me Monty. Cam's got upside, but I just don't trust him to stay healthy. Madison or JK. Give me Madison by a hair, but I do love JK. But again, injury prone, holding out. He has no leverage. He has no reason to hold out. He has nothing that warrants a holdout. He's not using his head. He has no reason to ask for money when he hasn't been able to stay on the fading Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers. Woo, woo, woo. I'm getting the feeling A-Rod will be a disaster in New York. What say you? What say I? Let me show you a little something. Good timing too, because it's about to end here. 0 seconds. Denny, mute the phone, for goodness sake, Denny. I'm about to play an animation.
Come on, man. Pick up.
Please leave your message after the tone.
Hey man, it's Devontae Adams again. Call me back, bro.
In your eyes, the light that hit your eyes, incomplete your lives.
Your eyes.
Garrett Wilson and the boys.
Your eyes.
Rodgers has new toys.
Your eyes.
The lights, the heat.
Your
A
eyes.
Jets fan complete.
Your eyes.
You don't want to test Sauce Gardner's heat.
Your eyes.
I want to watch Breece Hall's quick feet.
Jets country, let's ride. That's how I feel, young man. Jimmy the Drunk. And I appreciate, Jimmy, your super chat here. I'll put it back on screen. He's 100% fading Aaron Rodgers and the boys. And I you know, you can do what you want, Jimmy. Jimmy, you know you're my boy. I appreciate your $5 holler, but I ain't fading nothing, New York. This is it. G. Willie season, my guy. G. Willie season. And Aaron Rodgers is looking smooth. He's looking rejuvenated. He's ready to rumble. And this defense is a top 1 defense. We got Denny who hung up the phone. He couldn't even mute it. Denny, go ahead.
Hey, I'm just calling back in.
Yeah, go ahead, Denny.
So, Nighthawk.
Go ahead, Denny.
Can you call me Dragon?
What?
Can you call me Dragon?
Yes, Dragon.
Nighthawk.
Yeah, you know, you're the only person that can rename themselves. I'm fine with that. Any other person, I don't do that. I'm like, no, your nickname's your nickname. Dragon, what can I do for you, Dragon?
You talked me into last year, right? I'm a kid for Klimt, right? And I had the number 4 overall. You know who was sitting in front of me?
Who?
I'm talking Dynasty, right?
Okay.
Burks was sitting in front of me. And I called Smitty, and he goes, you know what? He goes, take all Olave,
Olave.
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 Right? And I says, Smitty, yeah. I says, blink, hit Olave, right?
You zinged
That,
it. You
that
slung
turned
it.
out real
Zipped
nice
it.
over Burks. I think it was
Over
Burks, wasn't it?
yeah.
He got
Bro,
me.
I told you Olave over Burks for a reason. These people that are on this Burks train, I don't get it. I think Burks is potentially the biggest mid to late, middle round bust potential player sitting out there. People are drafting Burks way too high. I don't know what it is. I think people just want somebody. They want somebody new to find. They're like, okay, Olave, all these guys are already known. I want to be the guy talking about the next Olave, the next London. Who could it be? Where Burks is sitting there in an awful situation.
It was last year.
No, I know. I got
okay.
you. I'm just.
Oh, you mean now?
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
Burks is. Burks has got this high volume. Denny, hang tight. Let's go over it. First of all, Bambino dropping a $5. Who are you taking? The third pick, CMC Jefferson, are taken. CMC and Jefferson are taken. Well, my number one Bambino is Jamar Chase. So if my number one available is there, I'm going with my number one. Smash it, Bambino. Jamar Chase to the moon. Let's go to Jonathan real quick. Jonathan, what's up, my guy?
Hey, what's up, Smitty? So I'm in so I just started a superflex dynasty league, and you told me to go with Justin Fields instead of Justin Jefferson. And so I was just kind of wondering, what do you think for my second pick? I'm somewhere in between St. Brown, Brees Hall, Taylor, Waddle, or Olave. It's kind of Gibbs.
Well,
or kind
okay,
of
hold on.
Let's
Let's get back to something real quick. So you were in the live premiere of the Week 1 Waiver Wire show, which if any of you have not seen it after this show, I want you to go watch it. The Week 1 Waiver Wire show. Yeah, I said it. We already did the Week 1 Waiver Wire show. Like, what other channels doing Week 1 Waiver Wire? No one else. We are doing it. And in that live premiere, this man right here on the phone, Jonathan, who you're my boy, Blue. I'm not trying to go at you or anything like that. I just want to make a statement and a stance here. Take a stance. Is that his question was, do I go JJ or Fields? I think, right? Isn't that what you said in the chat? And I was like, this is not a debate. This is not a debate. I mean, you could do whatever you want. Obviously, it's a free fantasy football country. Let's ride. But hold on, Denny. Hold on, Denny. I'm making a very important point here. But this is not a debate in terms of what is the right move to make. It is going elite quarterback in a super flex. If you're gifted a top 5 or 6 overall pick and you punt that opportunity to get one of the big 4 quarterbacks or Fields or T-Law, you are picking at number 9, bro. You are picking at number 9. Your entire league shit the bed. And they allowed Fields to slip all the way to 9. This is a top 5. This is a guy I arguably consider very close to Joe Burrow and very close to Josh Allen. He could be number 3 in my mind. I could sit here and convince myself to take Fields number 3 overall in a super flex. He slid all the way down to number 9 overall. And because he's sitting around JJ, Jonathan, your mind gets all, okay, well, but JJ's there. Do I take JJ? You don't take JJ or Chase or anybody over a top 5 quarterback in a super flex startup. You just don't. That's how you crap the bed, because that is such an important player that you're going to get that no one else is going to get, or half the league won't. Half the league will get it, one of the top 6 guys, right? And the other half won't. And guess what you get to do when you get into round 2? Exactly the dilemma you're sitting at now. A wonderful dilemma of being able to go in any direction you want. The key to winning a super flex league, and especially building a dynasty, is getting that quarterback and then returning to normal behavior as if you're in a 1 QB league in round 2, 3, and potentially even 4, and trying to get a Jordan Love, trying to get an Aaron Rodgers, even if you're renting a player in a dynasty superflex, renting an Aaron Rodgers for 1, maybe 2 years, taking a gamble on a Jordan Love, taking a gamble maybe on a Sam Howell. But here's the thing, is when you walk out of your super flex draft and you do what I'm saying, your team will be a team that you could not have drafted in a normal setting. Now, that might be hard for it to really comprehend that, and understand what I'm really trying to say. what I'm trying to say is if you look at a draft board, bro, and you have Fields in 1, and then you draft Garrett Wilson in 2, or whoever we're about to draft, Bijan, whatever. And then in 3, you get an Olave. In 4, you get a Jahmyr Gibbs or whatever. In 5, you get a Kenneth Walker or Drake London. If you look at that team and you go into a 1 quarterback draft board, you could not draft that team. And I know you got Fields as well, and you're still going to get Love or Aaron Rodgers, and you still couldn't draft that team in a 1 QB draft. And I'm going to do a video on this. I'm going to do a video on this because you have to almost see it to really understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if you draft...
Hey, Smitty.
Yeah.
So let me just interrupt you real quick. So I totally agree with what you're saying. That's why I logged in, and I'm a big Fields believer as well. It's just I never thought that Justin Jefferson would be there. To be honest with you, that's what kind of threw me off. And I already have Justin Fields on one of my other dynasty leagues. But you were saying that get Gibbs in the 3rd and get Olave in the 2nd. But with this draft that I'm doing right now on Sleeper, on the 3rd round, Olave. In the 2nd round, Olave's there, and so is Gibbs. So Gibbs is already shot up all the way up to the 2nd round.
Well,
and then the 3rd round, I mean, you're not even looking at Olave there neither. I mean, you got him sitting on the 2nd round as well. Like in the 3rd round, you're looking at like
someone's going to fall then.
Kenneth Walker, or Kyle Pitts, ETN, like. It looks like the ADP has changed dramatically the last time I drafted.
Well, is your ADP set up for a 1 QB?
No, it's set up on superflex right now.
Okay.
Because that's what I'm doing.
Well, keep in mind that a lot of people are going to draft quarterbacks, so a lot of guys will fall that you feel like might not fall, that potentially will fall, and if they don't, then you clean up and draft another quarterback. You essentially can go in any direction you want.
I'm hoping somebody drafts Richardson, and then maybe G. Willie will fall to me, is what I'm hoping for.
So are you on the clock right now?
I got 3 picks are ahead of me, and I'm somewhere in between, like I said, St. Brown, Breece Hall, Jonathan Taylor, Waddle. Those are like the top picks.
Yeah, I mean, St. Brown's a smash, but Garrett Wilson first and foremost. Look, Gibbs goes higher in some dynasty startups. Obviously, if it's a dynasty startup, he's going to go higher than in the 4th round. My example was in a redraft when I was giving the example of Gibbs, and I was trying to paint a picture of, and it's the same thing in dynasty. It's just different movement of players. Also know that you can kind of swoop in and potentially grab some of the older guys if they fall and just not only build very well with Fields and Garrett Wilson, but like if the right players fall in the 3rd and 4th round, don't be scared to like smash it if you're going to clean up and win a ton of money for a year or two. But we'll have to take it. We'll have to play it by ear as to who falls to you, because Garrett Wilson would be a smash. Gibbs would be good, but if you could get him later, great. If you can't, I don't mind him. I'd take him in the top 15, and I wouldn't bat an eye. But it just depends on the ADP and if it's being suggested. Who's making that noise? What's somebody doing with the phone?
Between St. Brown and Breece Hall and Gibbs, who would you choose?
Depends on who you have.
He has Fields already.
Well, I have Fields already.
Who's there at quarterback?
How you doing on running back?
Who's there at quarterback?
No, how you doing on running back?
He's in the beginning. Denny, hold my beer. Denny, hold my beer. Let me handle this. Denny, you're going backwards with the questions because we already know what's going on. So what is
Sorry, Smith.
That's right.
He's a good kid.
What quarterbacks are there, Jonathan?
The only one that's like close to ADP wise for me, it would be Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Okay. So quarterbacks are flying off. Do we just need to know what's up? Garrett Wilson for me, number 1. Gibbs probably.
Yeah, if someone ends up drafting Richardson or St. Brown or someone like that, G. Willie will probably fall to me.
Okay. Well, that's the pick. That's the pick, bro. That's the pick. All right, hang tight. You're going in and out. I don't know if you got the phone, like what you're doing with the phone, but there's a lot of noise and then it goes away and then it comes back. Hang tight real quick, Jonathan. Hang tight real quick. We're gonna go over to Maddie. Maddie, you're live. And if you're on the phone line, guys, please please put it on mute, or I'll have to hang up on you guys if there's a lot of background noise. So go over to Maddie.
I had a question on my team. I'll read it to you.
All right.
Well, I'll read it to you. I have Mahomes. I took a lot of quarterbacks, so it's gonna be like.
Is it a 1 QB? Is it a 1 QB?
It's a one.
You can't just sit there and take a bunch of quarterbacks. Is that what he's doing? No, that's lame.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
I got Mahomes, Kamara, AJ Dillon, Jefferson.
Okay.
Denny, hold on. Denny, hold on. Let me help this guy.
Hold
Okay?
on.
Denny, let me help.
Smitty.
Dragon, calm down, Dragon. All right, go ahead, Maddie.
I like Nighthawk.
Denny.
Christian Watson.
Can you tell him to stop him?
Denny! Last warning, Denny.
Okay.
I love you, but I'm going to hang up on you. I'm not afraid to do that. Okay, Mahomes, Kamara, Dillon, Watson. Go ahead.
I have Jefferson.
Okay.
Kyle Pitts. Flex. Odell Beckham Jr. And then I have Josh Allen and Justin Fields. You want me to read my whole bench?
Well, can I ask you a question? Is this in a best ball?
No, this is just in like the fantasy app.
Bro, what are you doing? Like, this is a strategy I deployed. This is a strategy I deployed in a crazy like mindset. Like, what if I drafted like Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Fields in one best ball, 1 QB, and I did it, and my team was fire. And the thinking in best ball is you don't have to get this right. You'll get the highest scoring quarterback inserted into your 1 QB lineup for you. Optimal optimization. Your lineup will be set for you, so you can't get it wrong. That means if Mahomes scores 45 and Josh Allen and Fields score 25, you get 45 points. The next week it flips. I truly believe it could potentially, be a very big contending team. And I did it, and I love it. I have a video on it. People think I'm crazy. I wanted to try it. I'm not saying I recommended it to everybody. It has to fall perfectly too. But you're in a redraft league. It's not even a best ball. That means you're a human being that has to decide which one of these 3 to start each week. You're gonna get it wrong every single week. Not to mention, no one's gonna.
Trading.
Yeah, I know, but bro, what are you gonna? You really gonna draft these guys to trade them? Who's gonna trade with you? I bet you anything you're not getting any bites.
Well, I don't know. I'm hogging all the QBs, and then people want them.
But do they? Has anybody come knocking?
Well, I'll go knocking to them.
Because the problem you're going to have is that there are too many good Is it a 12? Tell me it's at least a 12-man league.
Yeah, 12-man league.
Is it 12, or do you say that just because I said that? Is it 10? Just be honest.
No, it's a 12-man.
It's like I'm like a doctor. You got to give me the honest truth for me to really help you and diagnose this. Okay. So the problem though is even in a 12-man league, you got Aaron Rodgers. You got guys. You got guys who are Trevor. You got Trevor Lawrence. You got Aaron Rodgers. You got a deep quarterback pool. These guys might say to themselves, "I don't need Fields. I don't need Josh Allen." Now, you or I might want it. We're very prone to wanting a big-name quarterback on our team, but there's at least 4 or 5 Phillips or Edwards in your league that don't want a early drafted quarterback. Early drafting quarterback, to some people, there's an aversion to it. So you already have to take like 3 or 4 guys out that may even kind of need it. And what if those people that are left don't even really need it? They've got a guy like, if you've got Aaron Rodgers and you like him, I'm not going to dilute my team to bring in a quarterback if that's my thinking. So, bro, I can't tell you how many people I try and help all year long with this. Like, Maddie, don't take this the wrong way. I'm just trying to help you. But there was a guy that called in last year. He took Travis Kelce in round 1, and then he took Kyle Pitts in round 3, and it was a 1 tight end league. He's like, I did it to trade. Why do it to trade if you could just draft the player, you're probably just going to be lucky to get later, unless, you know, you're in best ball, like I said, and on the board is nobody that you want. And that might have been kind of how you felt maybe, but I doubt it, because looking at the board here, you got JJ in round 1, you got Mahomes in round 2. Who'd you take in round 3?
I took Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have the lemonade and for like the refreshers? All right. Can I get a?
Can I get 5 lemonades? I'll get 5 of them. 5 lemonades.
No, thank you. That's it.
Scuba, what are we doing here? Scuba. What are we doing here, Scuba?
Oh yeah, sorry guys. I didn't realize I forgot to put it on mute. I'm sorry, man.
All right. Hang tight. All right, Maddie. My point being is this poor guy called in all year long trying to get rid of Kyle Pitts. He couldn't do it. He tanked his entire team, his entire season, just gave money away. Entry fee, here, take my entry fee, because he drafted to trade. He didn't draft to have the best team. He drafted with some concept that he was going to go out there and just make magic happen via trade. He didn't even draft the best team he could. This right here, bro, you've got quarterbacks for days. I love the quarterbacks, but you're going to have to pull off. I'm not saying it's impossible, but this is not a great approach to take, because you're going to be hard-pressed to trade one of them. Had you done it with just one of them, Maddie, I would have been like, okay, let's see how we can get you out of this and maybe put you in a better position than you would have been if you just took a player. But my guess is, Maddie, you're going to be hard-pressed to get the player that was already sitting there in round 3 where Josh Allen was, or Mahomes. Whichever one fell in round 3, the player that was sitting there, you're going to be hard-pressed to get straight up in a trade right now for one of these quarterbacks in a 1 QB. It's just hard to trade it in 1 QB, bro. You almost have to wait until week 1 kicks off, because right now people aren't seeing them pop off. You know, they're just thinking, oh, I kind of like my quarterback. You might have to wait for an injury. But to have 2 of these situations on your plate right now, Maddie, now you got to try and do it twice. Like, I don't know what was going on there. Have you done this before? Be honest, Maddie, but are you typically like the kind of guy that drafts 2 tight ends like in the top 4 rounds and like, I'll just trade one? Is that like is it something?
Well, it was like I was like sitting on like the top of the like to draft, and like for Allen, I mean, I didn't really like my other options, so I took him, and then for Field, I don't know. I don't know. I just took Field.
I can understand the Fields one, and I don't mind that as much. Like, had you taken Gibbs or London or Gibbs or another Breece Hall or whatever, is probably sitting there like Stevenson. Like, you probably were definitely looking at a player that you're going to be begging somebody to give you for Josh Allen later. It could work out. I could understand the Fields one. Like, if you're sitting there around 6. Top around 6, and you didn't like anybody there. You're like, everybody I like, I can get in 7. So I'm going to kick the can down the road a little bit, take Fields, still get the guy I'd probably reach on right here. I'll get him in 7. And then the guy I'd reach on in 6, I'd get an, or 7, I'd get an 8. And you just kick the can down the road. Like, I can justify the Fields one. But what I can't justify is, like, how in the hell are you going to, like, you got the makings of a good team had you drafted normal. I don't know. But what I would say is you got to go to each team, bro, and see what team has a weakness at quarterback. I bet you're going to find 2 of them. And you better hope to God that those guys are trading people, because if they're not, you're sitting with 3 quarterbacks and everyone's going to smile all year long, and no one's going to want to give you anything for it, and they're just going to watch you make the wrong decision each week. And you have some good potential here. Like Watson, JJ, if Kamara pops off, bro, this team could still be a top 6 team, which is why it's like, oh, bro, you were almost there. But hey, I'm here for you, Maddie. All year long, let's try and get you a trade. Let's try and trade Josh Allen and something to get you another RB. I would go after Gibbs right now for Josh Allen. I'd go after Gibbs right now. I'd go get Gibbs before the hype starts getting big, bro. I'd go after Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet somehow, some way. If you got Charbonnet already, great. If you don't, try and get both of them. Bro, you add something like that to this team and you're a contender. but you really stepped in your own way a little bit with this creative plan. And you're not the first person to do it. You're not the first person to do it, Maddie. I have people coming to my show every year that say, Smitty, I drafted 2 tight ends in the top 3 rounds. Help me get rid of one. It usually never ends well, but we're going to make it end well for you, Maddie. Hang tight. Let me answer these super chats real quick. And then, Maddie, if you have a follow-up, I'll go to you first, and then I'll swing back around. Bryson says, what do you think of Najee for Devontae Smith? Straight up, if you need a wide receiver, it makes sense. If you need a running back, the Najee side makes sense. So it's very, very solid trade. I mean, Devontae Smith gets drafted above Najee, so technically speaking, Devontae Smith has more value, but I could definitely see wanting Najee if you needed an RB and you had a plethora of wide receivers. Vampy says, Smitty, it's my birthday. Hope everyone has a great 4th. Vampy,
to the moon.
Happy birthday. To the moon you go. Appreciate my boy Vampy. Thank you, Jimmy the Drunk, for dropping that super chat earlier. Bambino, appreciate your super chat earlier. Hope you took Jamar Chase, Bambino, like I said. Sick Nasty, dropping this one. Sent you outcome of the weekly underdog, bro. Thank you, Sick Nasty. I will check that out. Appreciate you dropping that super chat. James dropping one. Ryan dropping one. Let me just get these out of the way, guys, then I'll hit the phone line again. If I missed a super chat other than that, please let me know, guys, and I will throw it on screen and answer it. Let me get to Ryan's and James. James says, dropped a $20, got charged, but don't see the chat. James, I think we answered it. Didn't we? When did you drop it? When did you drop it? Let me know what the question is, James. I don't see it. There's no $20 super chat in here from you. Ryan says, yo, I made a platform that lets us relive our best fantasy memories, draft your team. I don't know what you're talking about, Ryan, but appreciate your super chat very, very much. You're the man. Okay, where are we at? Let's go around to Scuba Steve. Scuba Steve, you're live, pal. Then he left.
Hey, Smitty, I got a question for you.
Yeah, how's that lemonade?
It's pretty good, man. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I had it on mute, but I guess when I was driving around, it accidentally took the mute off, so I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. What's up?
So I know that you like Garrett Wilson, like Breece Hall, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and like Jahmyr Gibbs, and yeah, I know you also like Bijan and Drake London, but how hard is it to I guess try to diverse yourself into not having those same guys on the team? Because I feel like sometimes taking the running back and the wide receiver sometimes that you might just stacking that up. I guess what's the strategy for that? Do you just take best player available and not really worry about that type of situation, or is there anything that you do to mix it up?
Let me just say this: there are 100,000, maybe a million ways, to win, or more than a million ways to win, actually. But I mean, legitimate, hard to argue against thousands of ways to win. Okay. And what irks me more than anything is when someone comes in or somebody watches content and they get brainwashed into thinking this, and they come in and you could tell I'm not necessarily mad at them or whatever, but just that they think this way. Hey, Smitty, in Superflex, you really do need to do this. Or, hey, Smitty, you got to do, or, hey, you shouldn't have more than 30% exposure to a single player. This is ridiculous that people think there's set rules to winning best ball, or set rules to winning fantasy football. It matters how you draft. Maybe you're not a good quarterback drafter, so maybe you draft early quarterback because it helps you because you're a great late wide receiver running back drafter. That's the argument against going quarterback early or something. But then when you say something like you should only have 30%, you should only have over 30% exposure to a single player to diversify. That is true. That is one way to win. Have as many different variations as you can. There's also a strategy that I deploy a lot where you go all in on a bunch of the guys you think are going to do well. And if you miss, you miss. You lose all your leagues. You miss, you probably have a really, really bad year. But how many times out there have one of you, and this happens to me all the time, I'll have a bad year because I go all in on a bunch of guys that get hurt. and not a bad total year, but just, it's a downer year. It's a little bit of a downer year. It takes a lot of revamping and coming back from behind. Last year was a good year, but we got hit hard with the Breece Hall ACL tear and the Javonte Williams ACL tear. Two things that were out of our control. I don't regret stacking Breece Hall on 80% of my teams. I don't regret it at all, because the years in previous years, when I've gotten Arian Foster on 80% of my teams or done similar things like that. And last year, I had probably Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow on about 80% of my teams. That obviously crushed. So my point is that you could say, 30%, that's the most you should do. Or you could say, you know what? I'm going to go all in on the boys I believe in 2023. And guess what? If you go and draft similar teams over and over and over, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have every little variation covered, because you go into best ball and you draft 200 teams that are very, very similar, but you're being forced by flow of draft, by not having the same pick every time, by drafting with different players, to have a slightly different team. And if you've got every variant of the team you truly believe that's going to go in and dominate, there's something to be said about that. That is a strategy. That is like the all-in brute force strategy that I call it. It's the all-in brute force. Draft your boys, do it over and over and over again, get 80% exposure to a bunch of guys, and if you're right, you are going to have some sort of variant, because it's hard enough. Even if you're right, a majority of your guys, it's still very hard to win first place, second place, third place in one of these big tournaments. So if you have as many options as possible to go into that, you can crush it or you can totally lose it. Now, conservative Caleb's not going to want to lose his league on one or two guys going down, and that's fine. He's a conservative guy. Conservative Caleb doesn't like that, and that's okay. But for one person to say, like when someone comes in a live stream, and we got a couple guys that do it all the time. They were strolling here like they've got some sort of Gray's Book Sports Almanac, or they've got the best ball, trilogy of how to play best ball, like it's been written yet. Like best ball is still very new. And so there's still a lot of data and research to look at. And you got these guys that come in here and they're like, you need to have this, you need to have the 3 quarterbacks, you need to have this. Like, you can win 100,000 different ways. It all depends on your draft style mixed with your strategy too. You could be told the winning formula from last year, from the guy that won last year, but if you can't deploy the strategy like he would, what good is it to you? And who's to say the guy that could have won the league last year, had he not done this 4-stack approach that everybody just shoves down everybody's throat, had he drafted the way he would have normally drafted, he may have won the league, but because he conformed to the pressures of you have to stack to eliminate the odds of getting things right, who gives a crap about how many things you got to get right? You're competing against yourself. You're competing against yourself, not 200,000 people. Are you getting your predictions right? And when someone says Joe Burrow and Chase have to be on the same team in order for you to win the championship, you can't just throw Chase. The guy with Burrow and Chase is going to beat you. Who says? Your mom? Who says? Your dad? Who told you this? An analyst told you this, and you keep regurgitating it. Guess what? You could own Jalen Hurts and Jamar Chase. And what if Jalen Hurts outscores Joe Burrow in all 3 of weeks 15, 16, 17, and Chase still goes off? That's the part that really irks me about people that act like they have the blueprint, and if you don't follow it, they come in the chat and they go, you gotta have this, you can't have that, 30% exposure is all you should have. No. Scuba, did that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess more so. That's the only reason why I was just asking about like the diversity of like having like the same of like the lines and like the Jets players or anything like that. It's just like try to protect yourself, because I mean, like, we all think that like certain offense is gonna click, and if like for some reason if like the offense is like I guess it's like
then you lose.
Struggling. I guess
then
like,
you lose.
Try not to worry about.
Then you lose, Scuba. Then you lose. Again, it's an approach that I respect either way. If you want to diversify to be, conservative, there's nothing wrong with it. Conservative Caleb's a good dude. Conservative Caleb is just conservative. But it doesn't necessarily mean like what if you're right, Scuba? What if you're right and you win one league? Haven't you ever gone all in, eggs in one basket, and you won like 3 leagues? I mean, has anybody ever done that? Would you rather lose one league and not win the other, or maybe still win the other 2, but not have the chance of losing all 3? It's just your preference. Like, do I diversify when it makes sense? Yeah, because it's all case by case basis. You know, it's all case by case. Like, I won't put all my eggs in one basket in Christian McCaffrey. I won't, but I do want to own him in one league because I think he can still, do well. In the weeklies, I want to own Christian McCaffrey. Sometimes own Derrick Henry in the weeklies, because in the weeklies he could go down in week 7 and you still get 1 through 6 opportunities to win first place in weeks 1, week 2, weeks 3. So it's all just case by case. But to say about the Jets, bro, if you don't believe in the Jets enough to bank on Wilson and, let's say, Aaron Rodgers together in a bunch of leagues, then that's fine. You're like, I like Garrett Wilson, but I don't believe enough in the Jets, so I'm not going to go all in. That's a preference. That is a preference move. That's a decision you got to make. You're at the fork in the road every time you're making a decision in a draft. There's nothing wrong with either approach. There's nothing wrong with owning 80% of Garrett Wilson in all of your hundreds of best ball drafts. If anybody tells you there's something wrong with that, they're regurgitating what they hear. They're not even thinking for themselves. They just heard it so many times. Or that you have to stack because it'll make it so it eliminates the likelihood you've got to get more things right. Like, I get that, but we have different data that's going to come out every single year, and someone's going to come in and say, you know what, I looked at this the other way. A lot of people look at data of the winners. They don't look at data of the losers. They just say, who won the league? They did this. Oh, that's got to work. There's look at all the people that stacked that final game. Final game.
Let me ask you one question.
Yeah, Denny.
Who's going to be there? What you do? I swear to God, I'll be there. Scuba Steve might be there, but you know what? Denny's going to be there.
Denny, you better be in Vegas. I'll be in Vegas on the 15th.
Smitty?
You better be there.
I'll be there.
You better be there, Denny. You said you're going to be in Vegas to meet me on the 15th.
Scuba Steve can do whatever you want, but I'll zip a freaking pass and I'll hang out with Smitty for 2 hours. Yeah. Guaranteed.
I do think you go missing. My prediction is you go missing.
I love the guy. I happen to love the freaking guy. The guy.
Hey, Denny, hang tight
I just
for
want
me.
to zip a freaking football, right? Even though I can't even catch one,
I can catch anything. I can catch anything.
I'll be there with Smitty.
Anything you throw at me, I will catch.
Football.
My 9 3/4. My 9 3/4 hands will catch.
Steve, man, I hope you're there. I will be there.
All right, Denny, appreciate you. Denny, we love you. Bye.
Hello.
He's not even pausing. He's not even pausing. I love Denny, but he's not even pausing. I'm not even able to interrupt him.
Finish him.
All right. Hey, Maddie, what else you got, Maddie?
I was going to ask, should I do like a 1-for-1 for like Josh Allen or get a player, or should I throw in someone else?
Josh Allen for what player?
Either like I don't know, like who's a.
I mean, like I said, Gibbs. I'd go after Gibbs. I'd go after Breece Hall. I'd go after Stevenson. I'd go after. Honestly, I would take Walker and Charbonnet. I don't know if you can get Charbonnet. You really need both. What I would have done, bro, is I would have drafted Kenneth Walker over drafted another quarterback like that, and then made sure I got Charbonnet. But it's already in the past, so all you gotta do is solve this. But yeah, I mean, bro, I can't really tell you. You're gonna have to go through the teams and say what teams need a quarterback. You can't just offer Josh Allen to a team for a running back and then they have, Trevor Lawrence. The problem you're gonna have though is listen to the quarterback pool, bro. Actually, read out the quarterbacks. Go through each team, and if you need time to gather that, I'll come back to you. But go through each team and tell me each team's quarterback situation. Hey, can you do that Can you do it as rapidly as possible? And I'll try and help you here.
Okay. Well. I mean, I don't think I can because like my phone's gonna die right now.
Okay.
But
well, I'm here to help you,
fine.
bro. I'm here to help you. I'm trying to help you. If you want to call back.
Yeah, I'll
okay.
I'll plug my phone.
Go charge it. Go charge it. All right, call back. All right, Scuba Steve, what else you got? I mean, I'm trying to walk him through a trade. Maddie, call back and I'll help you. Hold on, Scuba. Hold on 1 second. Vampy says Joey Chestnut the 1.1 for 2023. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, he might be. Joey Chestnut is an absolute boss. James says, question again. Convince me again to go chase over JJ 1.1, 14-team PPR, redraft, running back heavy early, always thinking of pissing them off and going Bijan. I mean, bro, you know your own league. And if you go Jamar Chase, I mean, it's a PPR 14-team league, and it's PPR. But in a 14-teamer, if a running backs are going to go early and you get screwed at a running back, and you're telling me you can get a Watson maybe as your wide receiver 1 in round 3, and a Dotson later and a Kadarius Toney, then I'm okay going light wide receiver shopping for your 1, 2, and 3. So, I mean, if it's 14-team and you truly believe that running backs go heavier than normal, and you gotta be honest with yourself on that, then I'm okay going Bijan 1. I'm okay with it. I'm just telling you that in a 2 running back, 3 wide receiver in a flex, or a 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, PPR, Chase is my number 1. But if it's 2 running back, 2 wide receiver in a flex, meaning you can start more running backs than you start wide receivers if you wanted, then Bijan's my 1.1. And I really don't care if it's redraft or dynasty. And I don't care if I get any looks. I really don't care. I'll take my guy. I take Bijan in the top 3 in best ball all the time. All the time. But I do in best ball take Chase at 1 whenever I get 1 or 2, because I want as many shares of Chase as I can. I want both Bijan and Chase, and I do a ton of those drafts. Okay, go rock out. Marsman rock out. You're live. What's up? And then we'll go to Scuba.
What's happening?
What's up?
If you take Garrett Wilson as your wide receiver, are you waiting on Aaron Rodgers, or are you still taking Burrow?
Best player available, rock out. You know better than this. You know better than this. I can't answer that question. I can't. I wish I could, but I mean, if Burrow's sitting there in round 4, I'm stealing him away every time. If Fields is there in round 5, I'm stealing him away every time. If Trevor Lawrence is there in round 6, I'm stealing him away every time. And if I miss all 3 of those parachutes on the way out, I'm going to grab the Aaron Rodgers and Love combo, or the Anthony Richardson and Aaron Rodgers, or the Anthony Richardson and Love in the worst case of scenarios. But I mean, I can't tell you to cement in a plan to go Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, because you could be passing on Fields, and hell no. Stacking doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like in best ball it matters, but in redraft it doesn't matter. In redraft it doesn't give you a single extra point. And in best ball, the only reason you do it is because if you pick a potent team, the likelihood of you having these killer weeks is it definitely can help and increase some things. But it doesn't mean you can't win with Hurts and Jamar Chase. It doesn't mean you can't win with Justin Fields and Jamar Chase. Like, I drafted Chase and I didn't take Burrow. I took Hurts, and I have clowns in the chat that oftentimes will come in and say things like, "You can't win. You can't win. You didn't draft Burrow with Chase. You took Hurts. You can't win." Like, give me a break. Where are you getting this garbage? Where are you getting this garbage? Explain it to me, because if Hurts goes out and scores 40 points a game for 3 straight weeks, and Burrow does really well, 38 points, let's say, 35 points, 38, 44, but Hurts outscores him every single week, let's say. And I love Burrow. This is not a knock on Burrow. This is just an example. And I got Jamar Chase. How am I getting beat by the guy that has Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase? It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and people keep spitting it out because people love to talk. These Excel spreadsheet Erics out there, Excel Erics, are just, I don't know. And to Ultimate's point here, I definitely love stacking because it's fun. That's a whole different topic. Look, we're the ones that came up with this.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat.
Nobody's talked more about the pancake stack than we have. And do I draft it over and over and over? You bet your bottom dollar I do. But why do I love the stack? Why do I love the Chase and Burrow stack so much? Is it because they're on the same team? Partly. But let me educate every conservative Caleb out there or upset Unger that isn't hearing what I'm saying. I love this stack. No one has talked up this stack more than I have. And nobody loves drafting Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and redraft together more than I do. Let me press the button one more time for you.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live.
But let me explain something to you further so that you understand why that pancake stack is so important. The pancake stack is so important because you're drafting this combination with your first and your probably fourth round pick. This is why the stack's so important. Smitty, you just said you don't force stacks or don't have to have a stack, but you talk about the pancake emoji.
The stack above all stacks.
You talk about that all the time, so explain yourself. Round 1, round 4. This guy shouldn't be in round 4. You get the number 1 overall pick and you get Joe Burrow in round 4. That stack is marvelous for multiple reasons. 1, because it's a potent offense. 2, because we love the Chase to from Burrow connection. Getting double touchdowns like that. If this guy's going to have a 15 touchdown season, this guy's going to have a 40 touchdown season, this combination is going to score boatloads for you. But the reason you love the stack is because Joe Burrow costs you a 4th rounder and he's the number 1 wide receiver in the league. So the stack's important because the stack's going to crush. The stack's going to crush. Absolutely crush. 2 stacks that are insane are Mahomes and Kelsey and Hurts and AJ. And yeah, Burrow and Chase are the best. But Burrow and Chase are the best stack in fantasy. They're the best stack in fantasy because you still get a 3rd and a 2nd rounder to play with. You can't say that about Kelsey Mahomes. Kelsey costs you a 1, Mahomes costs you a 2. You can't say that about AJ Brown and Hurts. AJ costs you a low 1 or a late 1, Hurts costs you a 2, or vice versa, or whatever. Round 1, round 4. Win a league. Thank you very much. Class dismissed. Go ahead, rock out. What was the question?
Hello?
Yeah. Okay, Scuba. What do you got, Scuba?
Smitty, we're just gonna ask you. I've been hearing. I guess I've been reading up on it that there's still a chance that the Patriots, at least from like the Patriots media side of things, that they're still gonna get DeAndre Hopkins, and I guess like they're saying that they're still the favorites of getting him. Do you still think that that's? I mean, I know that we talked about it that after they made like that, they made that signing of Devontae Parker that took him out of the running, but I guess like with the New England media, I guess still saying that pumping up that this guy can still go to the Patriots. Do you still think that that's a landing spot, or are you just gonna wait and see if that actually happens?
I think it doesn't make sense. Like the only thing I talked about this in detail yesterday, but the only thing that makes sense here is that if you look at the logic, like just deductive reasoning, okay, it's pretty simple to like follow it. Okay, they were waiting to sign Parker. There were several reports very close to the situation that said if they brought in Hopkins, they would release Parker. They were waiting to extend Parker because one had to do with the other. They were connected. It wasn't a him and him situation. It was a him or him situation. And so when it became, okay, Hopkins got an offer, Hopkins didn't do anything about it. You know, Hopkins walked away from the table, and apparently he did get an offer. And so the Patriots waited, and then the Patriots signed Devontae Parker. Now, the only thing that could circle back in, I think, in my opinion, and have this be a situation where they have both is if Hopkins comes back and says, hey, I know you signed Devontae Parker. I think I want to accept the deal. Is the deal still there or whatever? And if Bill says, let me look at the wide receiver room, hey, let's talk about this. They talk about it and they say, let's go ahead and overspend at the wide receiver position. We think it's important for Mac Jones. It would be a conversation, I think, that they would probably have. And this is my speculation, but it's very sound logic. Like, they did not do anything with Devontae Parker until they waited an extraordinary amount of time waiting for Hopkins' decision. When he didn't make it, they went ahead and addressed the wide receiver position. Lots of reports said that they wouldn't have both of them. I'm not saying that can't change. I'm not saying that sitting there at the moment in time when Hopkins comes back to you and says, I really do want to play with New England, that Bill won't say, let's figure it out. Let's just figure it out. But they certainly did make a move like, you're not going to sign it. We're going to go this direction. And I think that, who are you hearing that the Patriots are still in play? From Patriots beat writers. Who are you hearing it from? From Patriots pages. Who are you hearing from the most? The loudest people that say, oh, this move, people are so dumb. This move freed up $3.5 million or $3.7 million to sign Hopkins. Do you really think that they're scrounging through the couch cushions for $3.7 million to get this Hopkins deal done? The Hopkins deal, they weren't doing this deal for that. It had nothing to do with it. You just have to hope, if you're a Patriots fan or you're a believer and you want this to happen, you want him to go to New England, that they're going to say, we'll do it, but we'll do both of them. We'll just do both deals. We'll do both deals, when that wasn't really the intention. There's no reason they would have been waiting on Hopkins before they went to Devontae Parker. Some might say, well, then they knew how much money they had to work with, but that's what I'm saying. And people that say that this is a small contract, look, there might be a lot of money that's not fully guaranteed, and there are a lot of incentives built into the contract. It very much is a fake-looking contract on the surface, and that's how a lot of contracts are. But it is still a 3-year deal, and it is still a commitment they wouldn't have made if they were bringing Hopkins in. And so the wide receiver room, you could look at it like dotting your I's and crossing your T's at each position. They went ahead and they looked at it. They said, okay, Hopkins doesn't want in. Let's go ahead and dot our I's and cross our T's, and let's get the wide receiver room buttoned up. And we did that. Now it's buttoned up. And I'm not saying they won't make room for him, but I think people are out of their mind if they think that this was done to do it. And if I'm wrong, I'll eat crow on it, but I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying, and you are right though. It is more so like the beat reporters, because it was Mike Reese who's been the one that's been reporting on it and saying that that the Patriots are still in on him. Though, if that's true, I guess who really knows? But all right.
All right. Let's go over to Rock Out. Rock Out, you there? I guess he's gone. All right, let me hit the super chat. Rock Out, where'd you go? Scuba watches your previous show and then comes in with the questions you already answered. Gotta love some Scuba Steve, says Russian Collusion with the $5 hauler. You are funny, Scuba, because you'll come in like I'll hit something like this for about 15-20 minutes, and you go, hey, breaking news, Smitty. You gotta love Scuba Steve. Scuba, we love you, pal. You're ordering lemonades on the live. I mean, how's the lemonade, by the way?
Oh, it was good, man. I took it down. I took you guys to get a Dunkin' Donuts drink, man. But yeah, sorry about it. It was pretty good.
Attaboy. Hey, Rock Out, what do you got?
Yeah. When your league is heavy running back in the first, do you zig while they zag, or you follow suit?
When I'm what? Say that one more time.
If your league's heavy running back in the first round, I know you're best player, but are you zigging while they zag?
Honestly, I'm still going best player available. The only thing that usually happens naturally is if people are just jumping on a position. And then, if all things are equal and I can kind of play chess while they're playing checkers type of thing, I will. If I'm seeing, okay, they're going all RB here, it's about to flip. And so I'm going to take Garrett Wilson instead of taking, or not Garrett Wilson, because I would take him no matter what. Let me think of I would take St. Brown, let's say, instead of going RB. You know, let's say there's an RB that I potentially want to grab there. I will take a pass on that if I think it's going to flip, and then maybe 2 RBs go between that pick and the next pick. You know, sometimes you can project the traffic, the flow of traffic, and you can drive against traffic. But most of the time, bro, I'm just looking at if people are flooding a position, it's just creating opportunity all over the board. And so you're just attacking the opportunity. But, I mean, I will naturally look at the wide receiver column, right? And I'll say, okay, there's only 3 good wide receivers left that I love. You know, and then it kind of drops off. And then I go to I sort by running back, and I see there's like 7 or 8 running backs I love. That will influence me, you know, like, and then all things are equal. I'll go wide receiver, and then I'm like, Kenneth Walker's 7 or 8 running backs down. I'm going to take St. Brown here because it drops off quick. Or even if it's Christian Watson, let's say, if I'm in the 3rd round or whatever, I'm looking at Christian Watson, I'm looking at London, and I take one of those guys instead of going Walker or Gibbs because they're down 8 running back spots. And I'm like, I'm going to get both of them this way. So, yeah, I mean, you definitely got to let it influence you a little bit, but you don't want to go in with a set plan. And
yeah, no, that.
You just got to use a mix of everything. Denny, you're live.
Smitty.
Denny.
Smitty, the kid's going to be around. He ain't going to be around, but you know what? I'll be around. Jonathan wasn't nice. I thought Jonathan was nice, yo. But, Matt, Smitty, I'll be there. I'll hang out with you for 2 hours. However you want me to hang out with you, I'll hang out with you.
All right, Denny.
Believe that.
I appreciate you, Denny. I had to hang up on you because I was trying to talk and you kept going. But you know that about me. I'm not mad at you when I do that. I just have to move forward with the show. I'm glad you called back. I always answer, you know. Hang tight.
Much respect.
Hang tight.
I'll be the guy. What, dude? I'll be hanging out with you.
All right, Denny.
Whenever you want to do the live stream, I already booked it, yo.
Denny the Dragon. Denny the Dragon. Denny, hang tight. Let me go to Matt real quick. Matt, you're live on the show, Matt. And then Kyler for Ritter, Mixon, and a 2nd round pick next year. Super flex. Kyler for Ritter, Mixon, and a 2nd round pick. I'd rather have Kyler. But it depends on if you can, win this year and all that. But Maverick, I don't mind Ritter, but I'm not like attacking Ritter in trade. Mixon's on his last legs. He's going to have like we said earlier, a couple people said it, a Zeke Elliott season at best of what Zeke did last year, which could be productive enough, but that's it. I mean, give me Kyler because of the trade value at a minimum. But good question. Appreciate you being a YouTube exclusive member. That's your 1 month question. Appreciate you, my guy. Okay, going to Matt. Matt, what's up, Matt?
What's up, buddy? I think you may have just covered the question. I tuned in and I seen the Joe Mixon thing, and I didn't know if maybe there was some report that he got, legally indicted or whatever. I didn't know So it was the concern just his fall off, like his age, or was it just was there any news?
Well, definitely go back and rewatch the beginning so you have the full scoop of it. But no, I mean, essentially it is that Joe Mixon, I'm identifying Joe Mixon as going way too high in fantasy football drafts. He's going in the 4th round. He's going in the 5th round. He's dropped off in talent. So clearly I'm out on Joe Mixon, period, unless he fell to like a free territory. But he's going there Walker and Gibbs and London and Watson. It's just ridiculous value to me. And on top of that, yeah, he does potentially face some sort of legal situation going on. Even though the police didn't pursue it, the charges were picked back up, or charges were filed by the alleged victim. And who knows where it goes, and who knows what the league does about that. You've got this Morant situation, and the who knows what the league's going to take the weapon type of situation seriously, or how that affects it, and who knows. I mean, he's been in trouble before, and I know he hasn't been in trouble for a long time since his college situation that had 31 teams write him off their board. 31 teams said we will refuse to draft Joe Mixon because of his off the field issue, and the Bengals took a chance. He didn't have any problems for a while, but now we've had 2 things pop up, and I know he wasn't allegedly home during one of them, but there's a lot of reasons to be concerned about his off the field, on the field, and the fact that he needs to take a pay cut or he's getting released. And will he be smart enough to take a pay cut, or will he think that his market's going to be great? Because these players think, oh, I'm different. You know, maybe Cook can't get it. Maybe Hopkins can't get it. But if he truly believes he's going to go hit the open market and get this fat contract and get a starting gig, he's got to lower his contract amount and take a pay cut to a point where he feels like, okay, that would be hard for me to get on the open market, so I'll lower it to right here to stay. And the Bengals might say, no, you got to go further. And then he's going to go, then I'll walk. And then he walks and they cut him. And if he gets cut, he's not starting anywhere.
Do you think any of the running backs like Dalvin, Zeke, Leonard, I might be missing one off the top of my head, do you think they could not get picked up by anybody? I'm sure D-Hop will get signed, but
do you
think any of them might?
D-Hop and Cook will find a team for sure, but the market has not been what we predicted. And this is a weird thing for me because I feel like in the business I do, you naturally use a lot of logic, and logic doesn't always play into it. And so, you know, I'm gonna predict some things wrong. When I say, oh, Hopkins is gonna get signed right away and he doesn't, I don't feel stupid that didn't happen, but it certainly was hard to
everybody.
Yeah.
I think everybody.
But you can't. But we sit here every day and say the Bengals are dumb, the Buffalo Bills are stupid, the KC Chiefs are stupid. These are all dumb decisions to not go after Hopkins. Every single one of these teams should be taking him, scooping him up, and if not just to prevent the other teams from doing it, it's a defensive move as much as anything. But it just because it didn't happen, I don't feel like I called it wrong. I feel like I predicted it wrong, but I feel like these teams are idiotic for not. It's idiocy. It's idiocy to not bring in Hopkins onto your squad if you're the Buffalo Bills to try and one up the Kansas City Chiefs.
He's a perfect like number 2 on a lot of teams. Like I really thought he was like. I thought Houston. I think I called and we talked about it. This is like a while ago. I thought Houston would have been a nice go back to Houston. You know, he would benefit Stroud, help out a lot of them young receivers. I thought honestly Buffalo too, but I knew Kansas City wasn't going to sign him. That's just not how they move. But I don't know now, man. I think it narrows it down to like 2 teams. Either maybe Tennessee. I think New England. I watched a little bit of your show. They signed Devontae.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means now, but I don't know, man.
I mean, look, what it could mean. What it could mean. He could go to New England if, let's say, his offer was so low, he was like, screw that. But he ends up not getting what he wants, and he comes back to Bill, and Bill loves him. I think Bill would find a way to bring him in if Hopkins, let's say, said, I do want to come back. I'm not getting the offers I want. I want to play for you, Bill. Let's go do this. I think Bill would literally find a way to get it done. I do think that Bill would try because Bill loves Hopkins. But the team did move on. You know, the team said, hey, are you signing? Are you signing? Are you signing? Okay, now let's go sign this guy that we allegedly were going to cut if we brought Hopkins in. And let's give him a $33 million 3-year deal, regardless of the incentives and everybody keeps talking about. It's still a commitment. It's still a commitment. It's still
well, I'm with you, sir. All right, I'm listening.
Yeah, Dane.
Man, I can't believe they gave me. Okay, I'm listening.
All right, hold
Smitty,
on,
I'm listening.
Denny, hold on. You're unraveling there. Hold on. One keeper, St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, or A.J. Brown. Garrett Wilson, I draft ahead of, all 3 of them. They're all really close and like a cluster, but I would go Garrett Wilson, St. Brown, almost neck and neck. Like, I could argue St. Brown over Garrett Wilson if you told me to. Say, hey, Smitty, go. 30 seconds, go. I could easily do it. I could be like, oh, St. Brown's going to lead. Like, he could lead the league in touchdowns. I have a video on that. But Garrett Wilson could as well, and Garrett Wilson could have more catches and yards and just be force-fed by Aaron Rodgers. We've seen what Aaron Rodgers did with Watson and every other wide receiver for the last, 5,000 years that Aaron Rodgers has been playing football. He just force-feeds the football to somebody, and he turns him into a Devontae Adams. That's what happens. He's going to water this plant. Garrett Wilson's going to flourish. And I love St. Brown neck and neck. And then I have a little space, not a big space, but like a 2 or 3 or 4 draft slot space between those 2 guys and A.J. Brown, only because I do fear A.J. Brown's knees. I do. I feel like A.J. Brown's could miss 2, 3, 4 games any season, just with a torn meniscus. Somehow Denny dropped himself off the call. Let me go over to Rock Out. Rock Out, what else you got? then I might wrap it up here.
Come on, rock out.
Yeah, do you got any bold predictions? Someone that could jump the depth chart that's not even a starter yet?
Depth chart that's not a starter yet. I mean,
I kind of like Bruce. I kind of like Brees Hall.
He's the starter, Denny. Chase Brown.
I'm sorry,
That's right, Denny. Chase Brown. You know, on the topic of Mixon, I think Roshan.
Right.
You know, I think A-Chain. I think you know, there's so many names we could roll through.
He likes Dawson. Smitty likes Dawson.
Well, that's a
starter.
wide receiver, Denny.
Can I step in? I'd like to.
Sure, Denny.
I'd like to grab this one.
Sure, Denny. Go ahead and take this one for me, Denny. Go.
All right. Recent studies have shown that Dawson ain't bad, Mopo, and these other guys that Smitty told me to get in and out on this one. But I got to tell you one. I had the top 4 last year with Dynasty. And the next pick was Hurts. Not Hurts. Burke, right? Smitty says, grab Olave, right? So I grabbed Salavia, right? It's Smitty.
Salave.
I go, you know, it's bank, right? I'm talking love right here, right? So Smitty, right? I had picks and tight, man, over Burks, over a couple of.
All right.
There was I gotta ask
Denny.
you one question, Smitty.
Yeah,
I gotta ask you one question.
Yeah. Tighten it up.
There was 2 running backs that ran for over 1,000 last year. Who were they, Smitty McGee?
Tell us who, Denny.
Huh?
Tell us who, Denny.
I don't have a clue. Who were the 2? Oh, no, they were...
a lot of people.
Yeah, 2 RBs, right?
Uh-huh.
2 rookie RBs last year.
They tend to rush for 1,000 yards, them RBs.
Yeah. Who were they? Who were the 2? There was only 2 that
tell
went
us.
over.
You tell us the names, Denny. We want to know if you know the names.
Oh, man, it's coming back to me. Oh, man. I love Ron Navy. Oh,
I love Ron Navy.
It's going to be crazy.
He just goes
I swear
hey,
by it,
Denny,
crazy.
hang tight. Denny, hold on one second. Let me get through. I got to wrap this show. Actually, Denny, give me your final 10 thoughts. I got to cycle everybody off the phone line so I can get out of here. Final thoughts, Denny.
I got to give you my phone number so we can hang out when I see you out there. You know what I mean? When I hang out, I'll buy every drink. It's on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm an importer, exporter.
Appreciate you, Denny. Thank you, Denny. I'll see you. I'll see you later.
Man, I'll be out there. Trust me.
All right.
And then tell me. I still don't know where we're gonna meet, but we will meet there. But anyway.
All right. Later, bro. Appreciate you.
All right. No, listen. Smitty knows. He zips it. I don't know what you guys are doing, but Smitty knows how to zip it. You're not gonna get what you think you're gonna get. Am I talking to nothing? Hello?
Denny, we'll see you later, pal. Appreciate you. He's Denny.
All right, Smitty. Hey,
later.
Ron Navy, do it. Everybody. Hey, John, I thought you gave Jonathan, I thought you gave him a hard time. I just want to tell you that, but
Okay.
I love you, Smitty.
Thank
you. You zip it.
Later.
Me and you zip it.
Later.
When I see you in...
This is Rock Out, and he's in the building. I be going spitting that fire. I be going preaching to your choir. And the Rock Out.
He's Denny. Denny. All right, Scuba Steve, final thoughts?
Yeah, we're just gonna ask you about the Denver situation. Is there anybody that you want over there? Do you think Sean Payton, I guess, like fixes that offense?
That's another topic we just talked about. Yeah, I mean Javonte. That's it. Javonte depends on the scenario. Depends on if I can grab him late for the year. Tim Patrick, I suppose. Not going near Judy. 4th round Judy, Mixon 4th round, Judy 4th round. What are people thinking? I have no idea why people are drafting Jerry Judy in the 4th round and Mixon in the 4th round.
Do you think that the reason why people are going after Jerry Judy in the 4th round, I guess, is because like towards like the end of the season, like he started, I guess, he started to explode.
Well, I mean,
so maybe that's like what it is.
I mean, for sure, he had to have done something, but it's not like he's proven he has any track record. You got Russell Wilson, you got the team trying to trade Judy and Cortland Sutton, and then you have the staff and everybody around saying that Tim Patrick's the number 1 wide receiver there. It just doesn't bode well, given his track record and everything. I'm not saying Judy doesn't have potential, but he feels like Sammy Watkins. He feels like Sammy Watkins, and I won't go near him at 4th round value. And if I'm wrong, guess what? I'm not even wrong. I'm not even wrong when I'm wrong. Why? Because of the 4th round talent that's so much richer and safer than Jerry Judy. If I'm wrong, I'm still drafting somebody that outperforms Judy or plays it. If I'm wrong, if I'm really wrong and Judy crushes it, I'm still drafting an equal talent in the 4th round. So I wash, but I'm going to wash my hands of it because then I don't have any risk because Judy's full of it. And the only people that get upset and mad at me are the Judy owners. You know, you already have him and you're like, Smitty, he's going to be great. It's like, well, I mean, you can still trade him because his trade value is great. So rather than, argue, I'd get out there and start moving him. All right, Scuba, appreciate you. Hope that lemonade tasted well. And get out. We'll see you on the next one.
If you do, all right. Hey, if you do a draft tonight, I'll try to hop in there.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure tonight what I'm doing. I might not tonight. I'm not sure because we did the panic chamber already, and we don't really draft on Tuesdays for sure. It's always like a bonus. All right, later, Scuba.
Later.
Rock out. Final thoughts. And Jonathan, if I was hard on you, Denny says I was hard on you. Jonathan, call back in real quick. Jonathan, call back in. Rock out. Final thoughts, bro. Hello. One keeper, St. Brown. Okay, answered that one. I got Charles over here. All right, rock out. I don't hear you. You're on mute. I appreciate you, pal. Okay, phone lines are closed. I don't know where rock out went. 2 a.m. here in Germany. Only thing I can think about is pancakes and Wendy's double stack. Yeah. Here, let me make you a little more hungry there, Charles T.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat.
The tripod, likened to pyramids in ancient Egypt, consists of drafting either Joe Burrow or Jalen Hurts with one of Hall, Gibbs or Bijan, and one of Olave, Watson, Wilson, or Chase.
Don't forget, we're going to draft Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like we always do. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Use promo code Smitty. Use that link in the description of this video and every video I have. It's pretty much in every single video description, but I'm also dropping said link right this very second, and I will pin said link right this very second so that you guys can click it now and prepare. Because if you don't click this link and get prepared, you're not going to get in on time on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm going to say, okay, get ready to jump in. You're going to click the link. You're going to try and sign up. They'll match up to $100 in your first deposit. So get in there, click the link, get signed up and ready, and we're drafting Thursday, Friday, Saturday on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. It's a minimum of $10. A minimum of $10. They'll double it, too. They'll double your first deposit up to $100. So you do a minimum of $10, they give you 10. You got $20. Let's ride. Live draft, best ball draft season. Let's ride. Thank you, Charles, for the super chat. Appreciate everybody that dropped a super chat tonight. I'm thinking tonight's a pizza night. Tonight feels like a pizza night. I think we're going to do pizza. I appreciate you all. I will see you all later. Thank you for all the super chats. I can't thank you enough. Russian collusion. Let me read off everybody that super chatted. You guys all deserve a shout out every single time you do that at the end of a show. So I'm going to Michael K. CPA. kicking it off. Sick Nasty. I'll check my text message for you, pal. Jimmy the Drunk. Bambino. Bryson dropping a wad. Vampy. Ryan. James dropping a double. Vampy. Russian. And Dane. And Charles T. Thank you all. Happy 4th of July. I'll see you all later. Appreciate you. Hit that thumb up button and subscribe if you're new, because we just hit 19K. We just hit 19K. Look at that number right there. 19K. Do it live.
A top 5 wide receiver hides among the people. His cost of entry is near illegal. Few see him coming. Many stay away. His name is Chris Olave.
Appreciate you all. If you missed it earlier today, we had the week 1 waiver wire video drop. Guys, the week 1 waiver wire video dropped. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's right here. Week 1 waiver wire. The video's up. Go watch it. Do it live. How to avoid needing to even pick these guys up heading into week 1. That's kind of the theme. Go check it out.